Hi guys, Tim here, hope you're all keeping well and safe. In this video we're going to have a look around my garage. There's 4 of the cars here at the moment. There is a 5th one as well, which I'll come on to later, which isn't here with us today. But before we jump into it, if you enjoyed this video, please do hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. We're going to start with C4 LTW, which is a Calibra that I've had for about 10 years now. This one is just a 2-litre Ecotec, but it has had a couple of mods done to it. It's sat on lowering springs, which has taken it right down. So these are the original 15-inch alloys. These are slab alloys, which actually came off the Calibra that I went across Europe in. Cost 50 quid. It's one of the early 8-valve models. It's long on the body, and the chassis on that one was well rusted, but this one is really good condition actually for how old it is. There's a full walk around video of this car on my channel, which I've linked to up above. But for now we'll give it a quick start up. So this one's just a 2-litre Ecotec. It's got a Canon cone filter fitted to it, which isn't brilliant, but it makes it sound quite nice. It unfortunately does mean that it does overheat a little bit in traffic, but as it's been on the car when I bought it, I consider it part of the history of the car, which is why I'm not going to change it. But we'll start it up anyway. Now, considering this one hasn't been on the road in about 2 years, it's ticking over quite nicely. There's no real issues on this car, so I just try and keep it as clean and as well looked after as possible. You know, regular maintenance, oil service and so forth. But yeah, nice enough car. So that's the Ecotec. Now let's move from this one, the 2-litre Ecotec, over to this, which is a 2.5-litre V6. This one is an SE9, which is one of the run-out models. This one is believed to have been one of the last 20 off the production line. There's not many of these left either. I think there's about 25 SE9s left on the road in the UK. This one is fairly standard. It hasn't been lowered, the engine hasn't been messed around with. The only changes that have been made to it are a different head unit, and someone's fitted rear parking sensors to it, which are a bit annoying, but they're also quite useful as these cars are quite long. But anyway, we'll jump in this one, start it up. The other benefit to this one is it also has air conditioning, which that one doesn't. So in the summer, which is the only time I really run these cars, this one's always the go-to. Which I try and enjoy as much as possible, but it's quite low mileage. It's only got 82,000 miles on the clock, so I try not to put too many miles on it. But anyway, it's a very different engine noise on this one, with 6 cylinders, 2.5 litre. It's got quite a heavy flywheel on it as well, which makes it very smooth and torquey, but also it does mean that those revs take a long time to come down. Right, let's move on from Vauxhall, and we'll move over to Volkswagens. Let's start with the GTD. Nothing too exciting about this car, to be quite honest. It's got a horrible gouge on the bonnet, as you can probably see there. That came from a huge piece of rubber off a truck hitting it. But this is the car that me and my wife use day to day. Golf GTD 2014 2-litre turbo diesel, so it's great on miles per gallon. Very comfy car. It's got the all-important tartan interior, heated seats, doesn't have the sat nav, but does have radar guided cruise control, which is an absolute dream. Right, let's jump in this one, start it up. Now, of course, as with all modern cars, it's got climate control and AC, which is lovely, but you know, nothing too special about this one. Just a dirty diesel, so yeah, just your standard Volkswagen diesel really, but a nice enough car to do big distances in. And when I'm off going around the country doing all the different shows and so forth, this is always one that I tend to choose just for its comfort. You can stick the cruise control on. One that I do use for some shows, some of the longer shows, is this, which is the Volkswagen Baywindow camper. Interesting vehicle this, as it's a 1975 model. It's a late bay, so it's got the big rear lights and the high indicators on the front, but it actually came over came over in 75, but it wasn't registered until 76, which is why it's on a P plate. So it sat down in Devon at Devon Coachworks for about 12 months before it was converted and finally registered in the summer of 1976. Now, this is by far the most basic of all the vehicles. As you can see, it doesn't have any fan controls, doesn't even have a radio. This is your cold air, which is literally a lever and it opens a flap at the front, and you get cold air in as you move in. And then these are for the heat exchangers. So this one opens the heat exchangers at the back of the van, and as the engine revs, the fan pushes air through the vents, and then that one directs it either up to a windscreen or down to your feet. Anyway, let's jump in and start this one up. Of them all, this one has got the smallest engine. It's just a air-cooled 1.6. It's the slowest. It only does 60 miles an hour, and it's also the most expensive to run, as it only does 19 miles per gallon. Anyway, give it a turn. Yeah, lovely. So the only mods that I've done to this really is, well, halfway through fitting a new interior in the back, so it's a bit of a mess at the moment. We fitted the stainless steel exhaust, so these old vans don't have rev limiters. They used to restrict the engines using the exhausts. We've changed the exhaust so it's a lot more pokey now. And we've also fitted electronic ignition and injection on it as well. So she's all right, but even with all those mods, probably pushing 50 horsepower, which for a van this size and flat front makes it quite slow on the road. Now I'm going to have to cut the video at this point and jump to my other Calibra, which is an SE5. So this is Calibra number 3. This one is special edition number 5. Like the SE9, it's also got BBS alloy wheels. These are 15 inches on the SE5. It's also been lowered on 30mm diameter springs, standard from factory. This one's got the turbo rear spoiler with a third brake light, which is very rare. Only European models have that. And it's also got the front dealer fit headlight guards, which this is the only Calibra I've ever seen with these fitted. This one was marketed as Black Beauty. It's the newest addition to the fleet, only joined the fleet in April 2020, and it's about to head off down to Wales to be recommissioned, and there'll be another video on my channel about that. But for now, let's jump back down to Oxford. So there you have it, guys. Those are the 5 vehicles. My aim for the end of summer 2020 is to get all 5 of them together at once. At the moment, as you can see, we've got 4 of them down here with us today, but my aim is to get all 5 on the road and hopefully get all the 3 Calibras to a show as well. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be doing more content on each of the individual vehicles, including full walkthroughs and walkarounds of each one, and also raw driving footage of each, which won't have any of me talking in there. You'll just be able to hear the engines and watch the cars drive through. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you again soon.